peace, and welcome to Oddly Familiar. First things first, I hope everyone and your families are staying safe and healthy. This episode is by the people and for the people. We have 10 submissions that were given to us by you, the viewer. We have a long list of great submissions, and we can't get to them all in a single episode, so let's talk about 10. In at number 10, we have one that is a repeat offender. From Tenchu 2, Birth of the Stealth Assassins. And now this one has 3 additional confirmed submissions. The first one, Dried Field by Andrea Fedeli. And the second one, Just Before Moonlight by Vangarde. The third one, Nicholas by Dario Scapisi. These came from a comment made by Make Ideas Give Ideas. The comment actually has 4 submissions. Although I couldn't find one of them, I found the other 3 rather easily because the sample is so recognizable. We still don't know exactly what sample library it came from, but it has appeared in multiple video games. Tenchu just happens to be the first one that we have found it in so far. As mentioned in an earlier episode, it also appeared in Rayman 2. Number 9, Super Metroid, Ridley's theme. And here is 2 Unlimited, Tribal Dance. This group returns yet again. As I stated in previous episodes, I think a lot of sports fans would know these tunes from sporting events. I was reading the wiki article on 2 Unlimited, and it even states their songs are popular at NBA and NHL games. But I think this wiki article now needs to add video games because this is now the 4th time they have appeared in the Oddly series. Submitted by David Mitchell, I was a little bit skeptical at first. I mean, how does a Euro dance song fit with Metroid? But I was listening, and all of a sudden I heard it. I couldn't help but laugh a little bit because the NHL game having this song is no surprise, and almost even expected. But then you have Super Metroid. The Super Metroid theme has some drums and a bass line mixed in, so I isolated the part that sounds familiar to make it a little bit easier to hear. Number 8, the Ren and Stimpy Show presents Stimpy's Invention, the bike theme. And here is Sabre Dance. This classical piece dates back to 1942. And nowadays, it's perfect for a chase scene, and even better when it's these 2 characters. Sabre Dance has a bouncy, almost cartoony feel, so when you include it in a cartoon, a video game, or better yet, a video game based on a cartoon, it just seems to fit. This Ren and Stimpy game was released in 1993, developed by Blue Sky Software and published by Sega as an exclusive for the Genesis and Mega Drive. The sound and music are credited to Sam Powell, who has quite a few games on his resume, mostly from the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Submitted by 7 Ace, I appreciate ones that come from games that I have never played before, because it gives me a chance and a reason to experience the game. And first impressions, it's not terrible. I like the teamwork aspect of the gameplay. You control one of them at a time, and you can use the other one to assist you through the stages. And some of the music is pretty good. Number 7, the Space Harrier main theme. And here is the opening theme to Blake 7. Lucky number 7 is held by one of the more popular themes in Japan. Released in 1985 by Sega, composed by Hiroshi Kawaguchi, who is still active. In 1988, he became a member of the SST Band, also known as the Sega Sound Team. His work includes over 40 Sega games, with the third being none other than Space Harrier. Blake 7 is a British sci-fi TV show that debuted in early 1978, starring Gareth Thomas. I think it's just a coincidence, but this oddly familiar submission was left by Gareth Mapp. The TV show has many space opera tropes, so the game Space Harrier taking inspiration just seems to fit. The theme from Space Harrier originates from the arcade, and that's the version of the theme that we let you hear. But one of my favorite versions is from the Sharp X68000, arranged by none other than Yuzo Koshiro. One last thing I want to mention, when Mr. Kawaguchi left the SST Band in 1990, the band needed a new keyboardist, so he was replaced by Takenobu Mitsuyoshi. Later that same year, they worked together on the soundtrack for GP Rider, of course a Sega game. And they remain friends to this day. Here is Hiroshi Kawaguchi and Takenobu Mitsuyoshi performing the Space Harrier theme.
夢を育んだ空を仰ぎながらハート
Number 6, Rollergames, the boss battle theme. Here is David Lee Roth, The Bottom Line. This 1990 NES game by Konami is based on a TV show of the same name. It was broadcast for one season, with its first episode being aired in 1989. It's like WWE mixed with roller skating.
Dynamite Daryl Davis passes all 3 additional black jerseys. There's one of them, Scott Casco, and he stops the cycle prematurely by tapping his helmet.
Here's how you score on the Wall of Death. Anything above the top line is 6 points. Anything between the first and the second line is 2 points. But of course, you must take 3 big strides in order to get the score.
The NES game isn't very similar to the TV show, while the arcade game is a little bit more faithful. And if you look at promotional material from the arcade game, one of the people actually looks like David Lee Roth. Although, I couldn't find this theme on the arcade game. Submitted by Trevor Walsh, I must agree, this theme bears an uncanny resemblance to The Bottom Line, which was released on January 26, 1988, on David's second solo album titled Skyscraper. In at number 5, we have a sort of triple whammy, all from Tekken 3. First up, we have the Eddy theme. Then up next, we have Hwoarang. And finally, we have Jin. Now you can find all 3 of these in one single theme from Conker's Bad Fur Day, titled Surf Punks. First up, you have the Eddy portion. Then the Hwoarang portion. And of course, the Jin portion. So this one comes from 2 people, Cybot King 2000 and Bearsona. Both comments mention Jin and Conker, but while listening to the Conker theme, I recognized a few more Tekken sounds. And it's a bit interesting that Tekken used them all for different themes, while Conker used them all to make one big theme. Conker didn't sample these from Tekken. Yes, Tekken 3 came first, released in 1997, and Conker's Bad Fur Day released in 2001, but they all come from a sample library. All of them come from the Funk Guitar Sample Library by Zero G, which usually sells for $49.99, but as of making this video, is on sale for $22.50. Unlucky number 4, Guilty Gear, The Missing Link, a track named Way. And here is Queen, Don't Stop Me Now.
Shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity.
It should probably come as no surprise that Queen makes an Oddly episode. They were one of the biggest rock bands ever, which means their influence can be felt in many different types of media. This theme from Guilty Gear has some of the same instrumentation and the same general feel. The notes and the overall melody might be different, but it does seem to have the influence from Queen. This one comes from Meta Nux Beats, so thanks for the submission. This is the first Guilty Gear game, released on May 14, 1998 for the PlayStation 1. Developed by Arc System Works, in August of the same year, Arc System Works licensed a North American release to Atlas. Number 3, coming from Silent Hill 2, a theme named Magdalene. And here is the Rolling Stones, Paint It Black.
I see a red door and I want it painted black.
This Rolling Stones song was first released as a single on May 7, 1966, and was later included as the opening track to the US version of their 1966 album Aftermath. In 1987, it gained new life when it was used for the end credits of the movie Full Metal Jacket, and 10 years later in 1997, when used again for the end credits in the Keanu Reeves movie The Devil's Advocate. It was also used in the reveal trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Anyways, this submission comes from Michael Aaron 1701, and they even throw in the fact that there is a Silent Hill comic with the name Paint It Black. Released in February 2005, this comic book is a direct link between the song and the franchise. Silent Hill 2 was released on September 24th of 2001, so it was only 35 years after the Rolling Stones song came out. Number 2, from Street Fighter 3, Third Strike. Ryu's stage, Kobu. And here is Michael, Policy for Love. This song by Michael was featured in a previous episode, as it contains the same sample as Rooftop from Clash of the Ninja. And while listening, Game Draco noticed it sounds an awful lot like the Third Strike theme. And it could be the same sample, just chopped up a little bit so the sample loops before it changes scales. They both have the same digital feel, but it sounds like the Street Fighter theme has an extra filter on it to add some reverb and maybe some frequency filters on top of that. Third Strike was released on May 12, 1999, and the soundtrack was composed by Hideki Okugawa. He actually composed the soundtrack for all 3 versions of Street Fighter 3, New Generation, Second Impact, and Third Strike. Number 1, Mega Man 3, the new weapon theme. And here is the intro theme to SWAT. Last episode, SWAT was compared to a theme from Dragon Quest titled Melody of the Blade. And once people heard this, we got a few comments saying it sounded like Mega Man 3. So naturally I went to listen and I thought I've heard that theme many times before. Did I miss that one? And once it played, yeah, it's in there, I missed it. But thanks to the viewers for pointing that one out. This episode exists because of people like you. And also thanks to the viewers, the same theme was used in an arrangement in MVC. Mega Man's second ending theme. So with all of the great submissions we have been receiving over the years, we will try to get a few more viewer episodes out there. It's a long, long list, and we look forward to going through and trying to find the similarities. We don't always hear them on the first try, so sometimes we have to go back and listen to the entry again. Last but not least, shout out to Gold Level patron Bearsona11. I am ICC, thanks for watching, peace.